while back, we told you about a woman named June Walker. She signed a rent-to-own lease on a 3-bedroom bungalow back in 2019 and spent 2 years fixing it up, paying $550 a month to a man who claimed to work for her landlord. After paying her last bill, she found out the whole thing was a scam. Of course, this put June in a lot of distress until she heard from former Detroit resident Jerry Gumbert. NBC's Zinhle Essamuah has a story.
There's an alleged fake landlord scam plaguing Detroit, and it almost cost June Walker her home.
When did things start going wrong?
2 months after I made the final payment.
Residents like Walker allege they've been scammed by individuals renting or selling properties they actually do not own. In November 2021, we reported on these fake landlord scams with Aaron Einhorn in collaboration with Outlier Media. They involve scammers collecting rent on foreclosed homes, renting vacant houses, or scammers filing false deeds and making fake sales. In the case of June Walker, she entered a rent-to-own lease agreement in 2019 with an option to buy, a major milestone for the 66-year-old who previously experienced homelessness and drug addiction.
I was running around the house all happy, calling everybody.
But joy turned to shock. When Walker asked for her deed, the seller stopped responding. He was not the owner, and Walker faced eviction. She sat through virtual hearings in legal limbo for months. Until...
There she is.
There he is.
Can I have a hug?
Jerry Gumbert, a Detroit native, now Texas resident, read Walker's story.
I love you. Thank you.
And I came across an NBC News story, and when I finally finished the article, my eyes were wet, tears were coming down my face.
The next day, Gumbert says he reached out to lawyers who passed his info to Michigan Legal Services.
I told her, I said, I'll buy the house for her.
And he did, meeting June Walker for the first time in July, the day of her deed signing.
You look like a homeowner.
I am. I got the paperwork in there to prove it.
Persons like her who get scammed, end up losing everything.
Ted Phillips with Detroit's United Community Housing Coalition says while Walker is a success story, she's not the norm.
I mean, the seller made money on this and made some pretty good money on this.
Walker says the initial sale price of her home was about $11,500. Walker paid the scammer $15,000. And to buy out the property, Gumbert paid $45,000 plus additional legal costs to Bacafe LLC for a house still in need of renovation. As for the scammers, the Detroit Police Department says in part, scammers are often not held accountable because they, quote, use fake identities, do not provide written leases, and use a middleman to commit a crime.
Did they ever find the guy who did this to you?
I went there and picked him out of the lineup, and they wrote it up and they sent it to the prosecutors.
The prosecutor's office says they, quote, diligently work on Ms. Walker's case. The Detroit Police Department confirms they submitted a warrant to the prosecutor's office, and it has been signed. They are, quote, actively seeking the suspect to arrest him. Even amid the waiting, June Walker hopes her story will inspire other affected property owners and that her home will benefit her family for generations.
You've been scammed or you think you've been scammed? Say something. It's easy to live unafraid when you know what's going to happen.
And for even more context, these fake landlord scams impact 1 in 10 Detroit residents, according to real estate lawyers and housing advocates. Now, there are groups like the United Housing Coalition working to defend residents, but it's an issue to watch.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.